All right, so I beat a video game of the weekend. Beat
Nice.
old Fire Emblem Engage. That's that one that came out like a month or two, January, I guess. But finally got like I know lifed it pretty hard, and then couldn't play for a couple of weeks. So over the weekend, I was like, I'm gonna finish this thing,
Yeah.
and it was so good. They did something with the story that they haven't done in any of the other 15 Fire Emblem titles, so that was pretty cool that they're still coming up with new things to do. Um, and yeah, it was super fun. Definitely one of my favorite games in the franchise.
Did this time you not fight for your friends?
They're never gonna take that out. Come on.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. I was like, damn, they really changed stuff up.
Yeah, you fight for your enemies. It's
Yeah.
weird.
It's kind of neat, but at the same time, it's like, wow, this isn't heroic at all.
It was good. It was good. And then I started because I was looking at my backlog of Switch games that I've bought and haven't touched and decided that I was going to do Kirby and the Forgotten Land next. So started that yesterday. I think I've played through like two of the worlds, but that's really cool. I mean, it's essentially like Mario Odyssey, but for Kirby.
I
It's a really good
gotcha.
game.
Nice, man. Yeah, you're big. You've become kind of like a big platformer guy, right? Because you weren't always like the biggest platformer. Because I remember when we were in high school, it was mostly just like, I'm gonna kill people at Halo.
I mean, I think it's always been both.
I
Like
gotcha.
my Nintendo collection, I think, is pretty extensive.
Yeah, but
Um,
I guess we just never hung out and played those at the same time. It was always like if we're hanging out,
that's true.
Smash,
Hmm.
or like there was every once in a while it was the Star Wars game for GameCube,
Right. Yep.
or then shoot 'em up. So we did have that one day where you forced me to play Mario, but that was about it.
It was that, yeah, that was on the Wii.
Yeah,
I remember we would come home from community college and play that, and that was a hard game, dude. Like I
and
remember that took us a good bit to beat it.
and the worst part too is like you'd have to listen to the Toads, and boy, howdy, that was the worst. I guess yeah, I guess
They just screech
the
at you.
the Luigi version's like supposed to be even harder because it's like Luigi's the main character. So it's like he doesn't have all the natural ability Mario has. So it just stuff comes harder in that one.
That's hilarious. I didn't realize it was harder. I thought that was just them like making more money off the same game.
Yeah, I that's what I heard is it's supposed to be more difficult, but
That's funny.
it's
Well,
hard to
then
say.
I don't know if we could do it.
I mean, I wouldn't. Definitely not now. I've gotten much worse at video games that aren't, hockey or basketball.
Right. I did like the other day. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to play NHL again. I had a lot of fun with that. So I don't know. We'll
I
see. I also don't want to drop money on a new NHL game too.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of lucked out with mine because it was like right after Christmas and it was on sale for $30. So I got that with some Christmas money and I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet. And my rookie, I already have over 100 goals for the season. I'm
It's
like,
real easy too.
I know
Like
it's just,
I do like to like role play my spot. Like if I'm right wing, I'm gonna just stick to that. But
yeah.
it's so easy just to finesse everybody and score a million goals.
Yeah, it's just so funny too because like I'll hear like the commentators talk like first off I got drafted by like the Carolina Hurricanes, so like the news now just they talk about Carolina more than I think Carolina's ever been talked about. They're like, I can't believe this rookie. He's scored like 100 career goals. It's like that's a new record, guy. Come on, I've got more goals than Gretzky for a season.
Right,
Like,
I
be a little
know.
bit more excited.
This kid, we'll see. We'll see.
Like, and like one game I didn't score a goal, and they're like, oh, boy, maybe his career is over. Like, what?
After scoring 100. Oh, that's great. The last time I played, I think it was NHL like 2017, and I got drafted to Edmonton, and I think there were a couple lines about like best player since Gretzky thrown around there. But
Nice.
man, I did not want to get drafted to Edmonton. But I did like the full proper draft thing where like you play or whatever, and every time, no matter how I did it, I got drafted to Edmonton.
Yeah, like it was funny. The last one I played, I got drafted to St. Louis, and it was back when Peoria was still the their whatever team.
Affiliate team.
Yeah, and so like I got drafted by them, and they're like, we're gonna send you over to the Peoria Rivermen because you're not getting enough assists. I was like, I'm averaging a hat trick. My guys just aren't scoring. They're like, you need at least 2 assists a game to be in the majors. I'm like,
Yep. You're not a playmaker.
I know.
All right. Anything else, or should we hop into it?
We need to get an opener.
I got one, man.
You do?
I stealthily put one in there.
Whew.
I know.
You fucking beauty.
Thank you. All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Pikachu to my Ash. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's up with you?
Oh, hanging out.
Yeah.
Just got back from seeing Shazam a little bit ago. Saw that today. So thought I'd talk about that before we get into the news, if you're cool with it.
Yeah, man. We also have a comment on the old YouTube page too, by the way.
We do. I have that pulled up, and I'm glad you said that. I'll read it now. This is from Preston. Hello, Preston. He says, hey, dudes, when it comes to the Dawn of DC run, I'm excited to check out Green Lantern, Cyborg, and Hawkgirl. I don't recognize the writers, but it's been a minute since we got some more Green Lantern, and I'm curious to read a Hawkgirl and Cyborg run. So thank you, Preston. Appreciate that. We're also pretty excited for those, I think. So we'll check it out.
I'm very excited for Green Lantern. The writer on that is actually the writer on Flash right now. If you're thinking to yourself, Casey, I really want to get into Flash, but they're doing this whole 1 minute war, and I don't know where to even start. Well, 2 weeks ago, the Flash 1 minute war, Start the Clock, The Battle Begins came out. And stupid me, I didn't know that this book was everything that I already had. So for a low price of $5.99, Preston, you can read that and be like, oh, wow, this Jeremy Adams is very good. And because he is.
Look at you backdooring on the podcast for your Flash issue.
Well, no, I'm not going to even sell that to him. I'm just saying, go to like,
I thought you were selling your copy. That's funny.
No, I mean, it's just, yeah.
You're like, damn it, I really shouldn't have spent that $6. How can I get it back?
I'll autograph this one. No, but no, yeah, like the Flash has been amazing. So I have a feeling the Green Lantern is too. I'm really curious I think he did say Hal is going to be in it, but it's clear with the fact that Jeremy Adams is using Wally heavily that he is a fan of like 90s era comics. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a good bit of Rainer in there too. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Hopefully not too much of his girlfriend in a refrigerator, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, in all fairness, you could also talk about the mom that was in the stove. That was just a mannequin. Like he got like Major Force, like he comes home and then like there's a note on the thing and it's like he sees his mom's head in the stove, and then like the next issue, like Major Force like, that was just a mannequin. It's like, well, where was his mom? We're not going to talk about that.
Here's an idea. Quit killing people and putting them in appliances.
I mean, I'm just going to be like really upset when his baby gets put in a microwave.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yep.
But so yeah, Shazam. Shazam was good. Casey, you were saying that nerds were liking it, but critics weren't. It's geared towards, I would say, the younger audience. So there's definitely some stuff in there that's like, that's for teens or, kids, whatever. But, much like the first one, I thought it was a pretty well-rounded, all ages movie. I liked it. They really leaned heavily into like Greek mythology. Like there's a point where you see a bunch of um like Greek mythology creatures running around, which is pretty cool. Um, and even though they're like all CG, I actually think it looked pretty good. And yeah, Zachary Levi is as charismatic as ever, and I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah. I want to see it. It's one of those ones where it's like I want to see that in theaters, but there's a whole list of movies I want to see in theaters right now. So it's like I don't know if I'm gonna get out to it because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get out to any of the ones I want to see in theaters. So, you know,
Yeah, there. I had some customers that asked me if I was going to see it, and they're like, "But you haven't seen Ant-Man yet." It's like, yeah, and like, I want to see Shazam more. I'm gonna go
yeah,
see that. Um, I'm glad I did. I do want to tell a fun little bit about my movie going experience, though, that involved a row of teenagers, uh, two rows in front of me. So whenever I walked into the theater, there were like kids everywhere. I was like, oh shit, I forgot that it's like spring break for some people right now. Because normally my 11:30 show on a Monday is like there's me and like one or two other like lonely dudes in there, right? And that's
you know
it.
what you need to do next time you go to a movie theater at at 11:30, and there's just lonely dudes there. Go up to them and say, "Boy, guys, if you're this lonely, do I have the podcast for you?" It's called Two Worlds Podcast. They're like my best friends. And just hand them like, the card and then just go back and sit down. And
I
then they'll
think
hear your
we
voice on there and they're like, "Oh shit, that's the guy."
I think we both know that I am not the kind of person to do
I know.
that. um so anyway, I don't know if it was like just a school or like some sort of school program or whatever, but like the whole row was rented out to these kids and like their two chaperones. And naturally they're talking throughout the whole fucking movie, which is just drives me insane. Drives me insane. Like I'm telling you, dude, after COVID, people forgot how to act in a fucking theater.
100%, dude.
So
100%. Me and Bree tried to see The Quiet Place, and Bree got really mad at me because I don't know if you've seen The Quiet Place, but it's a very quiet movie because they can't talk. So, like, every little sound. And, like, so if you're like watching it, like the first time we watched it was pre COVID. So, like, people would be like opening their wrappers as quietly as they could because they're not trying to. Then, like, we go see this one, and then they're just like, people are just like sitting next to each other, like, "Hey, what do you think they're doing? What? Hey!" And I'm just like, and finally I was like, "Shut the fuck up." And then Bree got so mad at me because she's like, "I can't believe you did that."
oh,
I'm
I
like,
I
"No,
support you
a
completely.
100%. I didn't pay to hear them talk."
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly where I was at today. So like the chaperones are shushing them the whole time. But like I what do you do, right? At the end of the day when you're the chaperone, you can tell them to shut up. Afterwards, you can say, "We're not doing this again," because you don't know how to behave. But like in the moment, what can you do if they're like if you're not their parents or whatever?
Just pause the movie and say, "Get the fuck out of here, Jimmy. You go outside and you play in the traffic till the movie's over."
So I kept my mouth shut for most of it because every so often the chaperones were shushing, but clearly they weren't doing any. It wasn't working. And towards the end of the movie, I was just fucking fed up with it. So I leaned forward in my seat to where I'm like, because there's one row between us, and like pretty loudly, I was like, "Shut up!" And they turn around and look at me, and I'm like, "Shut up! Stop talking!" And then the chaperones look at me, and I'm like, "Stop talking! Thank you." And then I lean back in my seat, and but at that point there was like 10 minutes left in the
Yeah.
movie, so like they were quiet till the end. um and then the credits roll, they get up and leave. The chaperones have to tell them to go back and pick up their trash because of course they're fucking barbarians, right, and left their place a mess. And then the chaperone, she turned around and she goes, "I'm sorry." And I like I didn't really know what to say. I just kind of like shrugged at her. It's just like, I mean, okay, you know, like
Yeah.
it's been done. They've ruined part of the experience. It's not your fault, but also your kids are fucking terrible. So you know, I just shrugged and then they
Yeah.
left and then I watched the two, you know, post-credit scenes. I was just like, dude, I'll make sure that it's not like I have to know the people that a lot of people aren't going to be there or I'm not going to the fucking theater anymore. It
Yeah.
just sucks ass. I'm paying fucking $17 to sit there and listen to this dumbass kid commentate over the movie. There's a part where Freddy is talking to a girl and the kid goes, "Oh man, W Rizz." Like says that out loud. W Rizz.
We're old, dude.
I'm just like, one, what the fuck are you talking about? And two, shut your mouth. No, like what you want the guys to be like, oh yeah, bro. Like, shut up. What are like stop talking. I don't need to hear that you think he's got W Riz. Anyway.
You know what else has W Riz though?
Yeah,
This episode.
that's true. That should be the title. W
Yep.
Riz.
It was gonna be Baby in a Microwave, but now we got W
Ugh.
Riz.
I I don't know, man. You know that meme where it's a quote from Michael Jordan saying "fuck them kids."
Yeah.
Like that's just how I feel about
Yeah.
any younger person anymore, especially at the movie theater.
Yeah. No, No, when I saw Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong, I mean, it was like the first time people saw movies since COVID. So it was just like they didn't even have like the buffer of being like, oh yeah, you know, like this was just but at least it was an IMAX. So it wasn't, you
So
know,
it's super loud.
it like yeah, everything was loud and like they would be, but then they're like, whoa, look at that. Like they were just talking. They weren't even whispering. But they were far enough away that I couldn't like strangle them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't great.
I remember
But yeah,
the first post-COVID movie I watched. We went and saw Black Widow, I think. And that my lovely lady has not been back to a theater since then. She was like, that was so awful. I'm done with theaters. So I'll go for movies I really want to see, but it's got to be in the morning on a weekday. I'll never go on a weekend.
yeah.
Fuck that.
I will say the best viewing experience in a theater I've had like recently was when me and Nick went and saw Shin Ultraman the 2 nights that it was out, because it was like everyone there was like, this is only 2 nights.
Yeah.
And we waited like 3 years for this. So everyone was just like, yes.
That would be way different.
Yeah.
Because what are they like those Fathom events or whatever? I'm sure it was similar to that, where it's like if you're at a Fathom event, then like you're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So
but no, it kind of sucks that the Shazam movie is kind of bombing now, because it's like I think it could have been avoided, but it was also like, yeah, we knew it was coming when you know the studio's like, this movie doesn't really matter. Like we love it, but it's not really going to be a part of our big plans.
you know, here's what I don't get about that though. Even if that's the case, still hype the shit out of it so people go see it and spend the money. Like who cares?
Because James Gunn was like half-assing hyping it up. He's like, I've seen the movie, it's so good, but onto my stuff.
Right. Which I mean, I kind of expect. Okay, guys, I'm talking spoilers for a hot minute here, so just skip ahead a couple or look for when the timestamp of when we go on. But Casey, I was talking to Mike after the movie about this. There's a cameo in it from another hero that I didn't know about, but Mike
Wonder
was
Woman,
like,
right?
yeah. Okay, so yeah. Mike was like, yeah, like everybody knew that. I didn't.
You avoid spoilers and anything trailer related, even
that's
at this
true.
point.
That's true. So it was like extra cool for me because I had no idea it was coming. I thought, I don't know if Shazam is gonna be a part of Gunn's thing. So Wonder Woman certainly isn't, so there's no way that one of the cameos is her, because I hear that they did like reshoots to fix other cameos like Superman and stuff, right? So to see her was crazy cool. But it made me think, like, why, like, but I guess if Shazam isn't going to be part of his plan, then that would make sense, because it's like, why would she be in it then, right?
Yeah.
Like just a one last hurrah sort of thing. But
Well, Gunn has said on Twitter, he's like, "Oh, actually, Wonder Woman's a huge part of my plan going forward. It's just she's not a part of the slate right now, but like, there's other stuff coming. I promise." It's like, buddy, I'm just gonna tell you this now. It's not looking good. Like, this movie's gonna tank. I have a feeling Flash will make money, sadly, and then Blue Beetle's gonna tank, and then probably the Superman's gonna tank. For being honest, unless that you can pull in some like crazy cool cameos, because that's the only reason that Flash is not gonna tank is because it's got Keaton helping it.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I was kind of like hopeful that maybe she would be a part of stuff, but then, it hit that, well, if Shazam isn't either, then I guess why not have her in there? Because none of it matters. But either way, it's all ages. This is, it's going to be kind of goofy, but it's still like a fun, good Shazam movie. If you like the first one, you like the second, and yeah, there you go. All right.
I'm disappointed we will never get to see Shazam versus Shazam though.
Yeah, I know. I really like. I really did want that to happen.
Yeah.
Like Zachary Levi, Shazam, and Henry Cavill Superman versus Dwayne the Rock Shazam Johnson would have been fun.
I just had a thought. What we would have made Shazam make billions, like literally, I'm gonna say $5 billion, is if at the end, instead of a Cavill cameo, if like Shazam's standing there and then this car pulls up, out comes Vin Diesel, and he's like, "Yo, your family needs you." And it's like, to be continued in Fast 10.
They actually they make a Fast and Furious joke in the movie.
Really?
So you're not too far off.
Like, how great would that have been if they're like, this is
been great.
And we're like, oh, holy crap. All of the DC universe, the Fast and the Furious extended universe are connected. Are Peacemaker and John Cena's character the same person? Who knows? We haven't thought that far ahead.
Oh man, that's funny. Also, Aquaman's in it, so
yeah. So there we go. And then, I mean, Batista will probably get thrown in. He'll be like, "I'm too much of a serious actor. You're not. You're going to be in Fast and the Furious someday," even though this is supposed to be the last one. I think it was supposed to be the last one like 8 of them ago. So,
nah, they've always said 10. They've always said 10.
I mean, dude, because I remember it ended after like the second one. Ben Diesel's like, "I'm not doing no more of these car movies." And then they did fucking Tokyo Drift, and then he's like, Vin Diesel's like, "Oh, I guess my Weatherman movie didn't make enough money. I'm coming back to these car movies."
Right. Well, when I say always, I mean like post Tokyo. It was like, all right, we're gonna do 10 of them. But anyway, I realize we'll have to do a separate video because we skipped that again.
Oh yeah. Oh well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, on to the news now. It was like nothing this week, man. At least for me. I have one single thing, so I'll just say it and then I'll let you get through all yours.
I saw this too, and I was like, I didn't see like the official news, so I was like, I hope it's not true. But then I was like, oh shit.
Yep. So in June, the solicitations came out for June, and we discovered that the final issues of both Tim Drake, Robin, and Batgirls will be that month. So huge bummer. I guess Batgirls aren't part of the Dawn of DC, which is just a big letdown. It's easily one of DC's biggest books.
I guess, every cloud has a silver lining, though. At least Tim Drake Robin's done.
Yeah, but you know, if if having Batgirls means that Megan Fitzmartin has to write Tim Drake, I'm almost okay with it.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say that because I was like, at least this will be funny. But no, it sucks. Batgirls is like, I'll say for sure top 10, easily top 10, maybe top 5 books in DC right now. So it's a damn shame. DC's really kind of whiffing it with what they're doing so far with the dawn of DC. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, oh yeah, let's get rid of Jeremy Adams, the best thing we've got going on the Flash right now, and put Cy Spurrier on there. Oh yeah, Clunan and Conrad, who are pretty well liked. Let's get rid of them off of their 2 books. Put Tom King on one of them.
And
That's gonna
just
get people to talk, I guess.
cancel the other one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that the Clunan and Conrad like say something soon because I would just
yeah,
like to hear whether they're just like, our story's done, or if they're like, we were told that this was it.
yeah.
So we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were just told, very much like Adams was told.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's
Yeah,
how it was. I mean, we know how DC editorial is, right? It's just a
yep.
shame. It just happens to be one of our favorites.
Yep. Okay, so we finally have like an official announcement for Sweet Tooth season 2. It's gonna be coming out April 27th. I wasn't sure if it was gonna get released. Like the last season came out like 2 years ago. So I'm pretty pumped. I love the first season. It's a lot different than the comic.
I
The
need to watch
characters,
that still.
it's really good. Like Jeff Lemire, I was reading an interview where he was talking about when he wrote it, and it's like, um, you know, like how like you haven't read the books, but like the characters in it are kind of like dirtbags, a lot of them, and like this way he wrote them a lot more likable. And he was like, well, when I wrote this originally, we didn't have a pandemic going on, so when I kind of rewrote this, I was like, I want to show that these characters can be good and all this other stuff. So it's like Jeopard, who is a dirtbag, the way I remember him in the comic book, is like the best character in this show. And I love him so much.
That's awesome.
Like it starts off like, yeah, he's a little rough around the edges. And like by the end of the season, you're like, boy, this guy is awesome. I would die for him. And I know he'd die for me.
Man, speaking of stuff to watch by Jeff Lemire, didn't Essex County start this weekend?
I didn't know if it started. I know the trailer came out and like the other day, and it looks very good. And it's like it's on one of those weird channels, like streaming channels, where it's like it's free, but I don't know where to get the channel.
Oh, really? I thought it was on like Hulu or something. Am I way off on that?
It the what I saw from what I saw, it was like some weird one because I thought it was supposed to be on CBS, like their streaming thing, but then like when the trailer came out, it was saying for something else.
Yeah, CBC.
Okay,
It's a Canadian channel. Of
I
course it
gotcha.
is. We should
Yeah,
we should have realized that.
fair enough.
See, it's like it's like Letterkenny comes out on Crave in Canada and then
Yeah.
Hulu in the US. So
Okay. So it is coming out on Hulu then?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm hoping.
I'm hoping so too. Looks like it's gonna be 5 episodes. So
Yeah, that
interesting.
sounds about the right amount because I think it was like 3 books, but it's the size of the Bible. So
Right on.
okay. So I'll go with some like the lesser news. Zack Snyder is doing a con called SnyderCon. It'll be 3 days and they'll watch Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know those movies are long, but three days does seem a little excessive. But it was kind of funny when he announced that this was going to happen. He had the guy that voiced Darkseid do this kind of like trailer thing, and then like he had this other thing where it's like it's coming full circle. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, Netflix bought the Snyderverse. He's gonna announce it there." I'm just gonna say this right now. I will eat Jake's underwear off of his body on the podcast if they announce this. Boy,
I like
I hope they announce it.
okay. I have two things to say. The first
Okay.
thing is we make fun of Snyder Bros regularly. I'm glad I'm glad that they still have like a shred of hope to hold on to for something in
Yeah.
their lives, right? I'm also glad that this is happening for them. Like if you're really into that, then this would be a super cool thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that everybody has fun. But guys, like let it die. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I will say a cool thing about this whole event though is that it like the proceeds go, since his daughter committed suicide, the proceeds go to anti-suicide fund. It's pretty neat. I think you'll be able to stream the event since not everyone can go to Pasadena or wherever it is in California. So yeah, if you're a big Snyder fan, it's gonna be pretty cool. And it's like there's two different types of Snyder Bros. There's the ones that we were making fun of, and then there's the normal ones that are like, yeah, suicide prevention. The fact that he added that into the movie, his Justice League movie was cool. And like I respect him a lot as a director,
Sure.
but I don't want to tell these people that don't like his movie to kill themselves. That's a weird thing to do that a lot of them do.
Seems like it's very much against the message.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any more Snyderverse, sadly. Though I wouldn't be against it. I'll say that.
I wouldn't either. Casey and I have said a million times on here that the Snyder cut of Justice League was awesome.
Yeah,
So
just 4 hours too damn long.
to each their own. I'm fine with it. I was ready for another hour.
I mean, here's the thing though. You're never gonna be like, boy, look at it's a nice day. I don't really have anything going on. I'm just gonna spend 4 hours watching a movie inside.
I say that. I'm
Oh,
like,
oh
oh,
yeah,
the
you're Lord of the
extended
Rings, bro.
editions of
My
the Lord
bad.
of the Rings? Absolutely. Let's rip it.
Fair enough. Okay, so Ron Perlman is rumored to be cast as Frankenstein and Creature Commandos. I'm actually fine with that casting. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw that and was like, perfect.
Yeah. And then Ben Affleck was doing an interview. He was first he was talking about when Joss Whedon took over the Justice League for the Justice League, and he was like,
Did you come up with that?
no, that's like a common thing.
That's
People
hilarious.
call his cut as the Justice League, and he was like, that was miserable.
Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry.
good. I'm surprised you haven't seen that. Like that's
No.
like, yeah, that's the common lingo. Like W Rizz for sure. But but yeah, he was like talking about, he's like, it was miserable. I never wanted to be Batman again. After that, I hated it so much. I was just so depressed doing that. And then like the only reason I came back was because Zach asked me to, and then like that brought the love back to that character that Joss took away. That's like, I'm
Dude,
paraphrasing, but yeah, that was basically what he said.
I want to know. I just want to know. I want to know what was so crazy, you know?
It just sounded like he had a huge ego, and like when you go from someone that sounded like with Zach, where it sounded like he's like very open and he works with his actors, to Joss, who like just he's coming off like two multi-billion-dollar movies, and he's like, he just like is like, oh yeah, I'm brought in to make this movie better. And then like he just was full of himself and just being a prick the whole time. That's the way it sounds. But
Remind me what the
who
second
knows?
one is after Avengers.
Avengers 2. Like
Oh,
that, I think
he
that,
did that too. I
yeah, I
totally
think
forgot.
pretty
Okay,
sure that still broke a billion. It was close, but it wasn't like enough to make them be like, let's bring you back for the third one.
gotcha.
Um, but yeah, then Ben Affleck went on to say he won't direct a DC movie in the James Gunn verse. He's like, I think it's gonna be fun, but I'm not gonna do that. So that's kind of a shame. He's a solid director for sure.
Yeah. Do you think he would have? We could have potentially gotten a Batman solo movie that he directed himself and starred in.
That was the plan. That was always the plan from the start. But I think I think he just see. I think it's less James Gunn and more WB more than likely. That's like kind of ruined that for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And then lastly, surprising no one, James Gunn has announced he is going to direct the Superman Legacy, his upcoming Superman movie. He's like, I wrote this script and I'm gonna direct it too. It's like everyone's like, yeah, no shit, you're gonna direct it. We know. Like, come on. This doesn't need to be announced.
I don't you like some of his movies?
I mean, I like Guardians and Slither is fun, but I'm not like a big James Gunn fan. But it's just at the end of the day, there's nothing like people will be like, "Oh, Suicide Squad was so well directed," like the Suicide Squad, and it's like, I don't know, I was it. Like there's nothing about his you know, directorial abilities that make me go, yeah, this guy, he's gonna bring something fresh and new. You know,
What was that one movie that I just did not like?
Super.
Super, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
movie was hilarious to me. But again, at the end of the day, it's like the script is funny in my opinion. Has nothing to do with his directing prowess.
Well, it is what it is.
And I don't think from and actually I'll tell you this. My favorite movie of his. I'm not sure if he directed it, but I know he wrote it. I'm pretty sure he directed it. Scooby-Doo
Scooby
2
Doo.
Monsters Unleashed.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
the best Leonard Moulton review. If you ever want to look it up, all it is he goes, "It is what it is." It's like 2.5 stars. It is what it is.
That's so funny. Man, I love Scooby Doo. That first one I think still holds up.
No, I think that one's good, and I think number two is good too because number two's got like it's
That's
more
the
of a
one with Scrappy, right?
no. That's the first one.
Oh, that's the first one. Dang, what
First one's
happened in
with
the second one then?
second one is when like all of the monsters like that. Oh, they're at this like museum show that oh yeah, all of our old monsters that we have captured over the years are then they get brought back to life and but this time they're real monsters.
Okay, sure.
And it's got Ray Romano's dad from Everybody Loves Raymond in it.
Right. Man, that cast is so good too.
Mm-hmm.
Scooby Doo. Am I right, fellas, ladies?
Scooby Cast, am I right?
Scooby cast. We're both big fans of all the cartoons. So,
Well, not all of them, most of
well,
them.
the ones that I've seen, you also enjoy. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
because it's like it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, the first ones were really good. Then Scooby Doo movies, and you're like, these are fine. Like I can only handle so much Don Knotts though, and then it's like
Okay, you're the only one.
it's like every other episode. It's like, oh, Harlem Globetrotters, cool. And then like the next one, Don
God,
Knotts.
nuts.
Yeah, they're like Three Stooges, like, oh, cool. Then it's like Don Knotts. Like, what?
Oh man, the best movie though is Zombie Island.
Oh,
That movie's
hands down.
great.
We've talked about that on here before.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I guess I like the James Gunn, the two live action James Gunn movies, but Zombie Island 1, it's perfect. Zombie Island 2, dog shit.
Did you watch? Yeah, in 2020, Scoob.
I did. It's good.
Is it?
It's but like you can go back to our back catalog and listen to me talk about it on there. But it's a like it's more of a Hanna-Barbera movie and less of a Scooby-Doo movie.
I need
So
to check it out.
yeah, like there's Magilla Gorilla references. We get Captain Caveman, Blue Falcon, Dynamite, Dick Dastardly's the villain. Like it's not like Scooby Doo. It's more just Hanna Barbera. Like this is our love letter to Hanna Barbera, which it's fine. I would have preferred more Scooby Doo.
Right. So I remember Blue Falcon and Dynamite were on the poster for that and
Yeah,
thinking, oh, that's cool.
the downside is Mark Wahlberg is Blue Falcon, which is like it sounds like that could be good, but they made Blue Falcon kind of an idiot, and then they got I'm blanking on his real name, but Ben Chang from Community to be
Oh, Ken Jeong.
Yeah, they got him to be Dynamite, which is like a terrible choice.
Yeah.
But
I
and
know
they made
that
Dynamite smart, which I'm like, come on, Dynamite should be the lovable goof.
right. I remember seeing, and I know you're not a Harry Potter guy, but Jason Isaacs, who plays Draco Malfoy's dad, is the voice of Dick Dastardly, and I think he's got an amazing voice. Like I love his voice acting too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, Dick Dastardly was good. Like I said, the movie's good. The one like the worst part is like I like Tracy Morgan, okay, but you cast him as a voice actor in something, you're getting Tracy Morgan, and he's playing Captain Caveman, and it's just like, oh, it's Tracy Morgan, okay.
yep, yep. You're not getting a voice with
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So
That's so funny.
it wasn't the best. Okay, man, but that is our news. Ready to talk about some comics?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So this week I read Batgirls 16, JSA 3, Superman Lost 1, Behold Behemoth 4, The Last Barbarians 2, and Masters of the Universe Masterverse number 2.
I forgot Behold Behemoth. I really like that book, so I feel stupid. Okay, so I read Hulk 13, I Hate Fairyland number 5, Wildcats number 5, Hellcat number 1, The Last Ronin, The Lost Years, Cat number 2. I wanted to add cats there because I was on a roll. Batgirls 16 and Superman Lost His Cat number 1 of 10.
I'd read that too.
Okay, I think I had a little bit more, so I will start with Hulk number 13. And this is by Ryan Ottley with Cliff Rathburn doing the inks. And this is the best issue of the Otley run-in so far. So we get flashback to the person that, helped Bruce come up with like his whole, oh yeah, warship Hulk thing. And it's Doctor Strange. You're like, what? And then it turns out it's not Doctor Strange. We find out in this issue. It's this guy that I did not know who he was. I'm going to find him because Doctor Strange is like, oh, I know this magic. This is this guy. He's like, Despair. I don't know if you know. He looks like a Spawn ripoff.
Oh, I've seen that guy.
But I didn't know him. And yeah, so he's helping with the magic, but it doesn't matter because the baddie already broke out, and that's how it ends. It's a fun, dumb issue. It's not like good, but it hasn't been good for a while, and this is the best issue so far. He's not like just playing his weird sport that he was playing for a whole issue while they're like his brain is dying. So at least it's better that way.
Right.
Excuse me. So yeah, I'm gonna go probably a 6 out of 10. The art's pretty solid in it too.
Right on. All right. First up for me, we'll go Masterverse number 2. Look at that big old beefcake. Look at him.
Oof,
He
that is
beefy.
some beef.
Thick slab of grade A beef. But anyway, it's written by Tim Seeley, and the art, there's 2 stories. Well, there's like the framing story at the beginning and end, which the art's done by Eddie Nunez, and then the 2 stories are done by EJ Sue and Victor Santos. And these are pretty cool. One, He-Man's out at sea. A sea monster attacks the boat. And he's got to deal with that. It's pretty cool. And then
Really quick, if He-Man is on the sea, would he be Sea-Man?
when you said really quick, I was like, I know what's coming. I just know you too well, man. You're gonna make a cum joke. The next one's cool though. It has like really, really cool artwork that I want to show.
Nice.
So it's just like, I don't know, just like 100 bullets style artwork, kind of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Eduardo Risso. But it was cool too. It kind of reads like a noir type story. Yeah, I liked it. And then at the end, the guy that the sorceress is trying to convince that, Prince Adam is the right person to have He-Man. He's like, perhaps I misunderstood my mission, Tila Na. What if I am not to observe the multiverse for clues? Then it must be that I am to initiate an experiment for the fate of the multiverse. And for that, I must make Prince Adam suffer. So we'll see what that means next issue, but it's cool, you know. You know how I feel about Tim Seeley's He-Man. It's good stuff. I like it. 8 out of 10.
Right on, dude. Okay, so next up, it's going to be I Hate Fairyland #5 by Scotty Young and Brett Bean on the art. And I just want to start. This issue is hilarious because it says, starts off, I missed this at first, but so it goes, listen up, scan this QR code before you read this issue. Like this is on the, illustrate, like the one part. And it goes, I Hate Fairyland #5 is best read while you listen to a song that was written and performed specifically for this issue. So put your headphones on, scan the QR code, and rock out as you follow along with Gert doing Gert stuff while you listen to This World by Jack the Radio. And yeah, you just listen to that, and then like there's no, like, for the first half of this book or over half of this book, there is no dialogue or anything or written, sound effects. It's just the band playing music behind Gert doing like crazy Gert stuff, and it's like a music video, like just a basically a music video. But
How
yeah,
was the song?
it's all right. Like the song was the weakest part in this issue because this issue is really good. And then it ends like she's leaving her goat friend that's been helping her this whole time, and they have a nice little hug, and it was heartwarming.
Oh,
And then she finally gets to Fairyland, and then she gets a call from the guy that hired her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my son's back, so I don't need you to rescue him." And she's like, "Okay, um, well, we're still gonna like take over Fairyland, right? So you can do your game, your stuff you want to do." He's like, no, that people actually prefer, like, instead of amusement parks, just doing stuff like online. So I'm not gonna, and I already own like an online metaverse type thing, so I'm just gonna do that. And she's like, well, you're gonna get me out of here, right? And he's like, actually, my lawyers say I shouldn't, so sorry. And then so she gets mad, kicks the rat. The rat goes flying, and it ends like an epilogue with this kid being like, "Oh, hey, are you okay?" And he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "This thing called Gert happened to me, kid." And then this other voice goes, "Did you just say Gert?" And then it's her little like guy that helped her out last time that was with her for years because she was so bad at what she, being the chosen one. So that's exciting. I love this book. It was a lot of fun. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
so is that the end of the arc?
Into the arc, I have a feeling it's probably gonna be like a 2 months off would be my guess. Like, a couple months off, let them kind of get caught up and then just go again like they did like with the last I Hate Fairyland.
Right. Yeah, I have customers that talk about that book so highly every week that it comes out.
It's such a fun time. Like, you would really enjoy it. I think you'd enjoy the first run too. I think this is better than the how I remember the first run personally. It's like I think Scotty Young is able to. I think Scotty Young's become a better writer in that time. It's like, which makes sense because he's written like 3 Eisner nominated books since I Hate Fairyland the first time around. So
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you keep flexing that muscle, you're gonna get better at it. So that's basically what it amounts to.
right on. All right, next for me is JSA #3. It's written by Jeff Johns with art by Mikhail Hanin and some parts by Jerry Ordway. The art is so good. Yeah, that's about all I can say, really. I just don't know what the fuck Jeff is doing, dude. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna be 12 issues, so I've complained so long about not having a JSA book that I feel like I need to see those 12 issues through, but it is a struggle. Um, I just don't know where it's going, and I don't know if Jeff knows where it's going. So,
I'm a little worried with this book that it's gonna get delayed a lot because Jeff hasn't been the best at keeping up with deadlines on books.
right, right. But I will say at the end, Degaton shows up. Uh, he just kind of like teleports in on top of the JSA table while they're having a meeting. So we'll see if anything actually happens next issue. But gosh, I don't know. I'm at like a 4 out of 10, and all four goes to the artwork.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I got you, man. How do you feeling? Because like I know Mikhail changed a lot of the costumes for the most part. What do you think about, you know, the updated designs as far as those go?
I mean, they're
Because
pretty
I liked
neat.
them for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah, they're pretty neat. Like Khalid's Dr. Fate looks super cool. Definitely some Egyptian influence there. Huntress looks fine, but I mean, when doesn't Huntress look pretty neat? Um, yeah, I like how he did Power Girl and Doctor Midnight as well. The one I'm not like, oh, where is it? Or Jakeem. It's not really a costume. It's just sort of like a hoodie with like a lightning bolt on it, and
Yeah.
it's like I kind of feel like you wrote that one in, but
Hmm.
whatever. The others are cool. Like I said, it's my love for the characters is keeping me on this, and that's
Yeah.
it.
No, I got you, dude. That reminds me, I had an idea, and I'll see what you think too, because I'm trying to find the writer and artist on this next book of mine. Um, I was thinking, how cool would it be since they're trying like James Gunn does like to do these like kind of weirder characters, these lesser known characters. And to me, one of the coolest things is like boxing movies and stuff. How cool and like noir type stuff. If they did like a noir boxing movie about Wildcat or like TV show, like HBO Max
Yeah,
TV show, be so cool.
yeah, it would be, and it would fit in with the book because they're like, should we get in touch with Ted and like this person, this person? Like, no, Ted needs to focus on training, the next generation. But give me a young Ted where he's fighting in the ring. It'd be so dope.
Yeah, I would love that so much. Okay, but Wildcats number 5. So this is by Matthew Rosenberg with Steven Segovia and Christian Duce or Deuce on the art. Love this book. So it's one part where they're trying to figure out like, Grifter's dead, and so they're trying to like the Wildcats are like, what happened to Grifter? And then the seven are at this like barn, and Superman shows up, and he's like, hey, I want to talk to Mr. Majestic because he said he was Kryptonian. And he looks at him, and like Mr. Majestic is actually like a kid in, like the superhuman body, kind of like Shazam, but not quite. And I don't know enough about him to be like, oh yeah, this is it, but I know he's a kid. And so like he's talking to Superman, and Superman's like, you're not a Kryptonian. Like as soon as like he's like, I have ways of knowing these things, and you're just not. Like I realize that. And like Majestic's like, you're not Kryptonian. And he's like, no, it's okay, son. Like you're, and then he punches Superman. And then like Superman's like, okay, you get one, but I'm taking you in. This is not okay. Like, and then like so he's just getting all pissy with them, and like Superman starts dealing with them, and so then they have to send in another guy to like basically hold Superman off while they all get teleported away because it's just like Majestic's not smart enough to fight Superman, basically.
Right.
And then we also get some Warblade action, which is like one of the few guys from Wildcats that I know. And yeah, this is just such a cool, fun book, and I really like it. It's actually made me, when we go to C2E2, I'm gonna look, like, you know how they always have those omnibuses, like random omnibuses. I'm gonna try to find like a Wildcats omnibus so I can read and get kind of like more knowledge on these characters, because this book is so good. Like, I love
Yeah.
it. It's made me wanna know more about these guys outside of the TV show that came out when I was a kid that I had a toy from. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. I love this book.
Well, I'm sure that if anything, you can find a ton of issues in somebody's dollar bin.
Oh yeah, I just was like, my whole thing is like, I want the omnibus. So I don't have to always be like, well, I'm gonna get this other back on board and hope I don't get the tape on the back of it and all that stuff, you know?
Right, for sure.
Because I hate talking like that.
Okay. The Last Barbarians. It's written by Brian Haberlin with Hannah Wall and art by Brian Haberlin. Um, I like the artwork in this book a lot. Like there's a lot of cool like creatures and creative artwork. Like these knights I just think look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're kind of creepy and neat looking. But anyway, this old wizard that has hired the main character and her brother to help out is clearly not all there. He's like paying for things with like old weird money that hasn't been around for a while. And he keeps saying that they're going to save his grandson. And then he calls him his nephew and can't keep it straight. So they're like, okay, maybe when we were warned about this guy, that was totally warranted. Um, but then there's a couple of cool fights with people that are tracking them. And yeah, it's fun. And then at the end, the two people that have been tracking them since the first issue show up again. So I assume there'll be another fight. But it's fun. It's cool. The cover, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm gonna go 7.5.
Nice. Okay, so the last Ronin, since you went, one last, I'm going the other last. Last Ronin, The Lost Years, #2. This is by Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz with pencils by S.L. Gallant. And yeah, this book is very good. So starts off with like Casey, I'm just gonna call her Casey Jr. because it's Casey something, but she's watching over the kids and she's like kind of teaching them little things. It's neat seeing Casey kind of trying to teach these kids when like she didn't have very long with Mikey to be taught. So like she's kind of going by the seat of her pants with stuff, trying to be the teacher. And then it cuts to Mikey, like get basically like becoming a badass again, and he gets a new teacher and stuff. And then he's like, the teacher then kind of tells him, he's like, before you go out, and this teacher also taught Splinter, but he's like, before you go out and kill destroy the Foot Clan and stuff, these other guys that killed all those people, you kind of need to fuck them up too. I mean, like, you don't have to, but like, you know and like Mikey's like, yeah, I do know. And so then like basically he like then is gonna go out of his way to mess these guys up, and it's pretty awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's fun, like, because you get a little bit more of like all the turtles talking at Mikey too, which makes it pretty neat. And like he's arguing with them all the time and stuff. I like that book a lot. You should be reading that one also. You're gonna be hearing me say this like with the next book I'm gonna talk about too, but you should be reading it too because you love The Last Ronin. And this is like, even though this is a money grab, it's a good money grab. So I'm going with another 9 out of 10.
Nice. Okay. I won't say anything spoilery about Behold Behemoth. It's written by Tate Bromball and illustrated by Nick Robles. Um, but it's cool. We get a lot of background info on our two characters. Uh, a cool moment with the Behemoth, who just looks so awesome. I really like the design for the Behemoth. And then definitely some conflict between our two main characters before the end. It's good. I like it. I'm actually really excited for the next issue. So I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
Right on, man. Okay, so now it's Hellcat time. This is by Christopher Cantwell with Alex Lynn's on the art. And so yeah, it's Patsy. Someone's been killed, and Patsy's a suspect, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. It's really good. Like this is like checking off a lot of boxes in my checkbook, and like also there's Patsy looking, that would be checking off boxes in Jake's checkbox because he loves a redhead.
I do.
So I 100% think Jake, you would love this book. As I've said about multiple things, the art in it is outstanding. The story is so good. We get it's weird. I mentioned this old boy the other day, old Dreamwalker,
Sleepwalker.
Sleepwalker, Dreamwalker. He walks for sure, and there's something to do with sleep. But yeah, he's there, which it's kind of funny that he pops up. And then like there's a big kind of like reveal, I guess, towards the end of it, and I'm just like, boy, I can't wait for the next issue. I love this. This is a 10 out of 10, my pick of the week, and I fully expected you to read it, so I was a little let down that you didn't.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Can I see the cover?
Yeah. The cover's kind of like doesn't do much for the story, but it's
Yeah.
there's just not much going on. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, so we got this clip art of Patsy. Let's just put her on a weird background. That's good enough.
Right. I mean, I did think about it, but I don't know. Like when I flipped through it, I was just like, I don't know. It just didn't look super exciting. But I'm glad that it is. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll check it out at work this week. All right. Next then is just the mutuals for me.
Yeah, just Batsy Girls and Superman Lost, correct?
Yep.
Okay. What order do you want to do?
I'll defer to the lady.
Okay, let's go Batgirls and then end with Superman.
Okay. So Batgirls, it's written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with art by Neil Googe.
The Googe.
The Googe. I like this a lot. I don't know about you, man. I thought it was cool. Mad Hatter is like the focus, and he makes a bunch of creepy Bat Family like puppets that they have to fight. And then stuff gets turned into a man bat type girl bat, I guess you'd call it. Which looked awesome. I think Googe's art worked really well for that character design. So I was all about that. And then of course, because Stephanie and Cassie are besties, Cassie's able to kind of get under control. And that last page made me think, this isn't how they're ending the series, is it? And I had to look it up real quick, and I was like, is there a next issue? And there is. And I was like,
yeah,
thank God, because this would have been a terrible series ending book. But for this, like, it was totally fine.
Yeah. Like I thought this was a very weak issue for a series that's been so good, in my opinion. And one thing that does annoy me, and I think I'm nitpicking, but it does really annoy me, is like, what's the point of Stephanie having the face mask if it doesn't block out gas?
Sure.
Because she gets gas, and that's how she turns into girl bat. But Cassie, who's got the full face mask, is like, yeah, it doesn't affect me. I'm wearing a gas mask apparently.
I don't know. Maybe it enters through the eyeballs.
There you go. It's one of those classic eyeball gases.
Yep.
But no, I mean, this is one of those things, and I'm not the biggest. I've said this before. I'm not like a Stephanie savant, like where I know a lot about her. I wasn't even like super well versed in Cassie. I just I just liked her. but it's like it does such a good job of like adding so much to Cassie, like this book has. I'm assuming it does the same thing for Stephanie, where it's like, oh yeah, they've both grown a lot as a character as characters, and it's gonna suck that this book's gonna be done.
Yeah. I mean, clearly Clunan and Conrad love these characters,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so, so cool. But hopefully, I mean, we only get a couple more issues, but hopefully it's a banger of a final arc, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious what the final arc's gonna be for the last like what 3 issues.
3 issues, yeah. They can do it though.
Yeah.
Because I think that whole Clue Master was only a couple issues and it was incredible.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Um, yeah, I'm gonna give this a 9. This one was my pick of the week. I liked
Okay.
it the most out of everything I read.
I'm gonna go with an 8. I liked it, but it just like I said, they've done a lot better with a lot of these other issues, and that one just kind of didn't work as well. Okay, now Superman Lost. This is by Priest, and I need to find the artist. I wasn't prepared this time around. Um, Such a neat concept with this though, but it's by Priest and Carlo Pagulan on the art, and he helped plot it too, which is cool. But
I also would
yeah,
like to show the variant by Lee Weeks because
okay,
Lee
that's
Weeks
that's
is
pretty sweet too.
incredible. Yeah.
But yeah, basically Superman. Just to kind of sum up the plot, because I had already known what the plot was gonna be because I had read about it earlier. But basically, Superman and Lois are hanging out, and he then goes, "Oh, hey, I have to do something. I have to save the day." And he flies off, and he comes back, and he's acting weird. And Lois is like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "She's like, you've only been gone for a little bit." And he's like, "It's been 20 years for me." And so then that's basically the premise type thing, and it's really really good. But what do you think?
Yeah, I liked it a lot actually. I think this is gonna be so weird. For me, the weakest part was like the league doing stuff, you know? Um, so yeah, I mean, I did like it wasn't bad by any means. It's just like the mystery of like Lois, and Bruce being there and all that, I thought was way more interesting than, all the fancy talk that the league was doing.
Like that's one thing I do kind of disagree with though, is the way Priest wrote the Justice League. Like they all had their jobs, it was all like well thought out with everything. Like there's so many times where it's just like, yeah, you guys just they're just kind of doing shit to be doing shit, but like outside of having Green Arrow there, it all made sense. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not like I don't like Green Arrow, but having just be like, hey, I'm gonna write shotgun with Batman because hopefully they need me to shoot arrows underwater.
Right. I don't know.
Like
I guess the thing for me was that it was just like, God, this is gonna sound so lame, but it was just like a lot of talking.
it was,
Uh,
but I get that, but like at least this felt like it had a point and it's not overdoing it. It's like
yeah,
actually explaining stuff that matters. It's not like because there's a lot of times where you have these like lesser writers that are just like, oh yeah, we're gonna explain stuff because I don't trust my writer or my artist, or I don't trust the people that understand what I'm doing. And this is just like how I think it would actually be. Like it felt like a real dialogue of them being like, oh, this is what we need to be doing type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I see. I really, really like that. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't really have any complaints with this book.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the ending was, Lois is like, we have a lot of catching up to do, and then it ends where Superman is, sent to wherever he was. So like, I am really invested in what
Yeah,
all went down there. So, yeah, I liked it a lot. It was cool,
yeah.
man.
No, I
That's
think
like an 8.5 for me.
yeah, no, this is probably gonna be a 10 for me. I love this. I think we're really lucky as Superman fans. Like, you remember, what, 2 years ago? It was like, ah, yeah, We got Doomsday Clock by Jeff Johns and Bendis writing both of the Superman books. And now it's like,
with John Romita Jr. on the art.
yes. And now we're like, oh yeah, we have this amazing Priest story. We have Joshua Williamson's amazing Superman book. We have Action Comics by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And then if you're like, even if you're like, oh, I want baby Superman, you got the old little baby Superman book, and then we're gonna get a Superboy book soon too. So like, it's Superman fans are eating.
Yep.
As the kids say. W Rizz for the Superman fans, for sure.
I don't even know if you're using it right there.
I am not. But what are you excited about for this coming week, man?
I'm gonna go with She-Hulk for sure. I know you're probably thinking it too, but Doctor Strange, I think that's gonna be a rip-roaring good time. And then, man, there's a couple others that could be on the list, but I think I'm gonna go with Dead Romans, which is like a small press book, but it's like a period piece. The art looks super cool, and I ordered a handful mostly for myself, but I was like, maybe someone else will like this too. But there you go.
Because like when there's books I don't know, I Google them and I'm like, oh yeah, Jake ordered this for Jake.
Yep, I sure did.
For me, I'm gonna go with Superman, Swamp Thing, and The Flash. All those books rock, so it's gonna be pretty great.
Yeah, it should be a solid week though. There's like a handful of things that I think will be cool.
Okay, man. So actually, before we go into Fantastic Fours, because this hasn't been a long podcast, I'm gonna share a tweet that I saw from this guy that I follow. His name is Aaron Myers. I don't like he'll get like comic books and he'll just like, oh yeah, I got this for like $5. And it's like something amazing. But then he's like, at the flea market today, I'm walking, and this, like, I think even though you're not a big what he gets fan for this one, because this is a toy, you're still gonna be like, holy crap. He's like, at the flea market today, I'm walking around, I do a double take and think, could it be? And walk over to a table. I ask how much she wanted for them. She says, I couldn't care less about these. They were my husband's. I know they're worth something, but I just want them gone. So I say, well, I'm not a toy guy, but I love Transformers, so I'd like them. And she says, if you want more, I have probably all of them and could meet up next week if you wanted. I say, yes, that would be great. Anyway, here's what I bought today. She wanted $5 for this.
Oh, wow. Like original inbox stuff. Huh?
Yeah. So yeah, Optimus Prime inbox, another Optimus Prime inbox, $5 for all of this.
They look to like the boxes look to be in great shape.
Yeah.
Too.
And then I don't know which one this guy is. Like, I'm not a Transformers guy at all. But yeah, another one. Like he got, I guess it's like, wow. And he's gonna be getting more.
Good for him.
I was just thinking
stuff is money.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, boy, if me and Bree get married and then we get divorced and she gets the Godzillas in the divorce for some reason, she's gonna be doing the same thing.
Okay. Dude, I real quick, okay. I could have been that guy once because I had some guy come into the shop, and I've told you this before, but for the listeners, a guy had a bunch of original Voltron toys, and I love Voltron a whole bunch, but I morally could not take them from this guy because I could have gotten them for absolutely nothing. But I was like, look, you got a lot of money here. Here's a toy store down the road. He'll treat you right. Go there and sell them. So it's just crazy, man. Some people, I mean, if you don't care, you don't care. There's nothing that you can do to make them care. But it's like, come on.
How funny would it have been if like you got a call from the guy, like it's Saga Toys, right? That I feel like he calls you like, Jake, thank you so much. I just spent $5. I got like $1,000 worth of Voltron toys.
I mean, maybe that is what happened. Who knows?
Okay, but Fantastic Four, I was just thinking in my head about like cool, dumb costumes. Like, we're like, boy, this guy looks cool, but this costume makes 0 sense. And so like give me in descending order. We can even go back and forth if you want. I don't really care. But it's like costumes that you're like, this is so cool, but doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. It's, whatever.
I can go first if you want. I'll do
Yeah.
all four because I pulled up pictures. I thought I'd screen
Oh,
share.
nice.
So where's the there we go. Okay. Am I sharing?
Yes, you are.
All right. So my first one's Dr. Midnight. It's just goofy. Like this doesn't really work, right? But I think it's cool looking.
Yeah, it's not the best. I think it'd be better if he didn't have the red, even though the red looks good. But it's like you're Doctor Midnight. You're supposed to be trying to be darker, and it's like, oh yeah, here's where I'm shooting.
Right. And sometimes they put like almost like a burgundy instead of the red, like they
Yeah,
darken that red, which looks a lot better.
it does.
But still, the moons, the goggles, I always just thought it looked cool. And then
You also love an owl.
I do love an owl. Owls are cool.
Yeah.
Next, we got Jack of Hearts. It's so dumb. But I don't know. There's just something about it that I think it's also kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was one of those ones I loved as a kid because my dad would have those like like the old Jack Hart's fiction comics. I'm like, boy, this guy, this is my type of stuff.
This is my guy right
Yeah.
here. Yeah. And then next, Casey, you probably could have guessed this would be on my list. Dargo Couture, man. He was part of the Thor Corps. He was the Thor in the future. But man, the studs, the shoulder spikes, the chains. He's just so like 80s, but I always thought this guy looked cool.
Yeah. It's awesome. And like the way that stuff was awesome at the time. Like the way Thunder Strike's awesome.
Right. These goofy like wrestling style boots.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally, this one's kind of a wild card, but Lionheart. Boy, I mean that probably wouldn't work today. Like who
No.
like editorial would probably say, "Nah, let's get something else." But I think this is super cool. The lion on the chest is dope. There's another one. Uh, the Union Jack cowl. I just think she looks cool.
Yeah.
So
you gonna crossplay that at C2E2 coming up?
then I would just be Captain Britain, honestly.
You got the hair for it though, man. You got that majestic hair.
That's true. You got me there.
Okay. So for me, I'm gonna go with Storm's original costume. I love that costume. Love it a lot.
Yeah.
There's been times where Bree's like, I want to be Storm for Halloween, and I'm like in my cart already, like with it prepared, and she's like, oh, not this year. I'm like,
just buy it. Then she'll feel obligated, right?
But that being said, when you're not
Halloween,
yeah, bulletproof, and you have everything showing, not very smart. which kind of goes well into Bane. I love Bane's costume, even though it's kind of like a pro wrestler's, crossed with like, bondage, which is like my favorites. And but like if you remember in the Nightfall storyline, like after he beats the crap out of Batman, and then armored Batman Azrael just like kicks the crap out of him because he's shooting knives at him, and Bane's like, oh, turns out a tank top is not good defense against knives. Who knew?
In full plate armor, Azrael.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'm jacked to the gills, like in this armor. Like, you got nothing on me, bro. And Bane's just like run away scared because he's like, this doesn't work. It's like Punisher versus Bane. It would not end well for Bane. And then New 52 Captain Atom, I got what they were going with there, and I think it's cool, and I love that series. But at the same time, it was also like, you're just doing Dr. Manhattan. Like that's all this is. That's all this is, guys. Come on, without the wiener. Like that's that's what you're doing. And then my last one, and I talk about this all the time, And he's actually going to be, he's kind of like what inspired this whole thing. It's Gambit. Faceless mask, trench coat, weird gloves, all of it stupid,
The
but
best.
all of it awesome. The weird boots,
Yeah.
a staff that he never blows up, cards that he does blow up. He
He's
probably
the
has,
coolest mutant. He's the
yeah,
coolest mutant.
yeah, he's super cool. Also, 90% of his costume is pointless.
Except a rainy day. Like on a rainy day, the trench coat really comes in
Oh, okay.
handy.
Well, not really, because it doesn't cover his hair. He needs a hood.
Yeah, but like he's gonna have that wet hair bad boy look going on.
Yeah, fair enough. But that also kind of leads us in to the next thing that we were talking about. We are gonna do a fun little March Madness related polls on our Twitter and our Instagram, and maybe Spotify if we can figure out how to do that, which the Spotify might not work. But it's gonna be costume like things. We're gonna be like setting up seeds. So it'll be like pouches, faceless masks, street clothes, capes, underwear on the outside, cowls, belts, chest hair, beards, leather jacket, random body armor, long hair, big collar, sunglasses, trench coats, random knives, domino masks, bandoliers. I think that's everything. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna like we'll get the seating situated after this is all said and done. But yeah, look forward to that.
Yep, definitely be sure to vote. We wanna know what everyone's favorite costumes are. It's gonna be a good time. All right. And that is the end of the episode, folks. So, closing plugs. Please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's 2 Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And then, like, let's say you're at the movie theater and people are talking. Like, you got these kids in front of you and they're just like, oh, yeah, Rizz. Ah. What you need to do is instead of getting mad, just say, hey, kids, if you really want to hear some real Rizz, listen to this little podcast my best friends, Jake and Casey, make called 2 Worlds Podcast. Not only will you see some real Rizz, you'll make 2 new friends along the way. They'll teach you not to talk during a movie theater, you little bastards. And also leave a comment down below about your favorite stupid costume.
Yeah, maybe it'll make the bracket. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, we'd love to stay in chat, but we have to go be the very best that no one ever was. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.